Hello, hi, my name is Rahul and welcome to Menoverse. This is going to be the new Menoverse. This is going to be the new face of Menoverse, and we are going to start things from a completely different perspective. We are going to start things from a completely different angle. So far, as you all know, if you have been following me, I've been talking about dating, cold approach, social skills, etc. I've been talking about how to go out and meet people, how to improve your dating life and social life. But now I want to take the approach into a different angle. I want to share new things with you. And to be honest, this is something that I have always wanted to share. I did not always saw myself as a dating coach. I did not always saw myself as somebody who will always keep speaking about dating, about cold approach, about attraction, about social skills, etc. That is one part of life. The reason that I made Menoverse was because I myself had a lot of questions. I myself did not understand the kind of mistakes that I was making in life. I was clueless about a lot of things, and as I grew, I found out the answers to a lot of questions that were troubling me. And finally, I reached a place where I had a good enough view of world. I had a good enough set of answers that I can give myself and that I can give somebody else. So, in this video, I'm just going to introduce what Menoverse is from a completely new perspective. And again, this is not going to be directed to a certain demographic, a certain kind of people. If you are 22-year-old in college and you're struggling with your productivity and your dating life and your social life, a lot of the content is going to make sense to you. Even if you are somebody who is like a 48-year-old person who is struggling with family, who is struggling with how to manage their own time, how to manage their own children, etc., and how to be productive in that context, this channel is also going to be valuable to you. Basically, what I'm going to be talking towards in this channel is like a integrated approach towards personal development, because usually when you search something on YouTube about personal development, or if you Google something, you will get a lot of things related to spirituality, and they're not going to be well defined. They're going to be very vague, general, and you know without any actionable advice. They will not really, like, instead of telling you and teaching you how to think, they will just force a worldview upon you. They will just impose their own thoughts and their own beliefs on whatever you are thinking. So what happens is, somebody who is caught up in these kind of ideologies with this kind of content, that person never learns to think for himself. That person is always dependent on somebody else to tell them how to feel, to tell them how to what to do, right? One of my goals through this channel now is to teach you and to give you all the tools and all the capabilities to be able to think for yourself, to be able to make independent judgments about people, about situations, about events. I want you to be able to think independently, come up with your own original perspective. I want you to learn how to see the world for what it actually is. I don't want you to just like read something in a book, or like just hear somebody speaking something, and just because it makes sense, just because it's plausible, does not mean it's correct, right? So that is one thing we are going to do. So basically, the idea is to guide you on the journey to whatever you want to achieve, whatever XYZ goal you want to achieve. I want to provide you all the tools necessary, all the shortcuts, all the structures, all the advice and tips necessary for you to achieve that goal. Whether you want to build your physique, whether you want to build a career, whether you want to earn more money, whatever you want to do, right? This channel is going to provide you with the tools necessary. We are going to help you make sense of the world around you. I am going to help you make sense of what are you thinking, why are you feeling this way, what to do when you think bad things, what to do when you think good things, what to do when you make bad decisions, how to make good decisions, right? How to make rational choices in life. We are going to use applied rationality, practical psychology. We are going to use a lot of like critical thinking skills in order to reach that point. Okay, so just to make a sense of the world, just to like tell you, give you a little bit of a context, give you build a little bit of fundamentals. I want to share like this very important perspective. So imagine that your mind already comes with like built-in features. When you're born into this world, you're not born blank slate. You already have a lot of things already going into your mind, right? For example, play circuits, exploration circuits, bonding, and reading social cues, like reading facial expressions. Like kids can understand when you're angry at them or when you're happy at them. Like even if the kid is 3 months old, he can understand that. All these things are built into human beings, right? But a lot of negative things are also built into human beings. For example, biases. For example, like for example, in we evolved in a jungle. We evolved in the jungles of Africa and the plains of Sahara, and throughout the human evolution, life has been very cruel, right? So, for example, I want to give you an example of, let's say, humans are biased towards negativity. We judge or we see negative things or negative events, more intensely than we see positives, right? So why is this? Why are we biased towards negativity, right? Why is it the fact that bad news or negative content gets popularity more than the positive content? The reason for this is because, let's say, if you are living in a jungle, right, and if you hear some noise in the bush, so there are two responses. The first response is if you act like a coward, if you act like scared, and if you run away from there, right? In this case, what happens is if there was nothing there and you run away, it's okay. You live to fight another day. You live to hunt another day. But if there was something there, if there was a tiger or a leopard or a snake in the bushes, and if you wanted to explore and it kills you, right, it jumps on you and it kills you and eats you, then you don't get to live. Then you don't get to reproduce. Then you don't, like, you are basically thrown out of the game of life, right? So people who had a who are more sensitive, like evolutionary speaking, people who are more sensitive to threat and negativity reproduced and survived longer than people who are too optimistic about life. This is why human beings are more kind of sensitive towards threat and towards negative news, toward bad news, because the best case scenario is that you just get some food, or you just win something, or you something good happens to you. But the worst case scenario is that you can die, is that you can get so badly hurt, right, that you're going to feel intense amount of pain, maybe for days, maybe sometimes for weeks, right? So this is coded into our brain, right? This threat sensitivity, this very heightened threat sensitivity is coded into our brain. So whenever something happens that we don't really understand, or whenever we are in a situation where we don't know what's going on, we automatically feel threatened, we automatically feel anxious. For example, when you go to a new club, right, with your friends, and when you have to talk to people or you just want to socialize, before, like, if you go to a new club, you will start to feel anxious. You'll start to feel the threat sensitivity. Your radar is going to be automatically searching, like you're obviously, like, not a physical radar in your head, but your mental radar is going to be searching the environment for any kind of signs or signals of threat, so that you can safely run away and you can protect yourself. Protection and survival is more important than courage. If you're just very very brave, and if you just stupidly like try to fight with somebody who is twice the size of you, or like if you're so stupid that you actually like think that you're going to fight a bear and survive, then your genes are not going to go very much, right? So this is the reason that modern humans are very, like, in a way, like you can say, it's like modern humans are cowards, like they're poke, right? They're pussies. These kind of flaws are built inside, like tribalism, right? Like the need to conform, like the need to like fit in somewhere. Like this is called confirmation bias. This is deeply ingrained inside you, right? Like another bias is like the scale sensitivity, right? So for example, when you hear news that like 300 people were 300 people were like killed in some accident, and thousands of people got hurt in the accident, you don't like cry, you don't feel so sad unless and until somebody suffered that fate, right? But if you hear a story about a dog, or if you hear a story about a little girl who was treated badly, and a little baby, like a little boy, a little girl who was treated badly and who was hurt really bad, and she was crying for her mom, and nobody could see her, she got lost, and eventually she could not find any food, and she died out of hunger. If you just hear about one thing, like just one person, the one little boy or little girl or one dog, then you're not going to be sorry then you're going to be much more emotional. This story of one girl is going to hit you much more harder than if I say that you know like 3000 kids, like for example 3000 kids are going to die of hunger, like in next 24 hours around the world. This statistic, this data will not give you any emotion. It'll not make you feel sad. Like logically and rationally, you're going to be like, wow, that's a very sad thing, but it's not going to make you feel any sad. So these are the inbuilt flaws in human beings, because human beings are not built for modern life. Like the society that we are living in, right? The concrete jungle that we are living in. We are living in a world of internet. We are living in a world of political correctness. We are living in a world of safe zones and niceness, etc. World is not like, we are not made for this. We are made for survival. We are made to live in jungles, right? We are made to live in small like small groups, maybe like from 50 to maybe 300, right? The larger the group, the more chaotic the group. Therefore the same thing happens, and this concept is called as Dunbar's number. Dunbar's number says that a human being can effectively maintain a relationship, one-on-one relationship, personal relationship, with maximum 150 people. More than that, if you have a society, or if you have a tribe, if you have a village in which there are more than 150 people, like 500 or even 1000 people, then most people will not know each other. And then if you don't know somebody, then collaboration is difficult. If you know someone, one on one, then you can collaborate, you can understand that okay, that is just a person just like me, because I know that person. You can collaborate. But if the group size becomes very big, you cannot collaborate. But in the modern world, the environment around us is very different. The context in which we are living in is very different, right? You live in a city, let's say, like right now I'm living in a city, Bangalore city, in India. Bangalore city has tens of millions of people, right? I don't know what's the actual population of Bangalore city, but there are going to be like millions of people living in Bangalore. Yeah, like 13 million people living in Bangalore, right? There are billions of people in India. Also, there is no threat now. Like I know that in the city, like an anaconda is not gonna try to hunt me. A tiger is not gonna try to attack me. There are no elephants around here that I need to be worried about, right? We have created a society, and what a society or a civilization is, like civilization is a safe space, right? Around which you can you don't have to worry so much about survival. Like this is what human beings did, which was very different from any other species that is now right now living in the world. This was one of the most intelligent things that human beings did. They divided the natural environment and the human environment, right? There is a jungle that's not made for human beings. We don't have poison like in our fang. We don't have fangs. We don't have like big muscles like chimpanzees or gorillas, right? We don't have claws, we don't have teeth, we cannot really climb that high, we cannot really run very fast, we cannot really take down a fucking buffalo on our own, right? We can't do that. We don't have night vision, we can't fly, we can't क्या बोलते हैं, we can't like fight underwater with other animals and kill them. Like we have nothing. So what we did is we created a society which is distinct and separate from the natural world, which we call as human world, which we call as culture, which we call as society, which we call as our village, which we call as our town. We can call anything. You can call this anything, right? In this safe space, you don't need to worry about a pack of chimps attacking you. What you have to worry about is being productive, doing some kind of work. What you have to worry about is finding a good partner or finding good people, right? Or maybe, trying to find good partner. Maybe like you go through a couple of partners in order to finally find the partner that you want to be with. In this safe space, you have to worry about self improvement, making yourself better so that you can be more productive, so that you can be more efficient and you can be more useful and meaningful to the society, right? In this, what you have to worry about is you have to worry about improvement of the society and improvement of yourself, right? You don't have to worry about things that a cow is worrying about, right? A cow has only one defense mechanism. It can try to run away from you. That's it. A cow can't do anything else. But you are born in a very safe space. Very safe space. Everything is already given to you. Right? The roads are built for you. There is street light. There is water. There is electricity. There is internet. Everything is already built for you. So a lot of our original old hardware and software, right? A lot of the codes, like mental codes, that the mental models that we have been following instinctively for hundreds of thousands of years or even like millions of years, right? Now they're not useful anymore. Now they don't help us as much as they harm us, right? For example, living in an echo chamber, like if you are somebody who don't understand what confirmation bias is, then you might be living in an echo chamber. You might be only associating and trying to learn from the resources that confirm your values, that confirm your knowledge, that confirm your ideas. You are never looking at conflicting information. You are never looking at anything that might prove you wrong, right? And this is a very fatal thing, because if you are so seduced by an ideology that you can't look at other things, then you are practically blind. You are mentally blind. Right? You will not be able to find the best possible answer. You are just like attached to whatever answer you have, and you don't have the will or you don't have the resources to improve the answer that you have in your head, or in order to go out and find better answers, right? So the modern world requires us to be more conscious, be more proactive when thinking, when making decisions. The modern world requires us to be more engaged in day-to-day life. The modern world requires us to have rationality, have wisdom, right? There is a saying that technology and the society advances much more faster than people gain wisdom, and that's a problem, because everything is improving, right, in our life. The camera that you are using, like right now I'm using a phone camera to make this video. The camera that I'm using in a phone, they have become like, the camera has become better over time, way better, right? The laptops, the cars, the phones, the airplanes, everything is becoming better year after year. But are we improving? Like, are human beings, are individuals improving? Are you improving or not? Right? How much have you improved from when you were 18 years old to when you are now? Like, have you ever thought of this? How many ideas that you had when you were 18 years old, you still have the same ideas? Have you ever thought of that? How many ideas have already been proven faulty or wrong or ineffective, but you're still so attached to those ideas that you can't, like, you are unable to go out and figure out new ideas? This is where rationality comes in. So your eyes, for example, see only a portion of electromagnetic spectrum, right? There are X-rays, there are ultraviolet rays, there are a lot of different kind of light spectrum, but your eyes see a small portion of it. Your ears hear a small portion of the audio, like the entire audio spectrum, right? So in the same way, your brain is also like a reality interpretation tool, right? And it has not been updated. It is going to take some time. Like if we keep on evolving for like maybe next 5,000 or 50,000 years, maybe we will all become more rational. Maybe this video is not going to be required. Maybe this channel and all the talk around rationality is not going to be required at all. But like nobody wants to wait 5,000 years, right? You're not going to wait 5,000 years because you're not going to be alive. So we have to become better in this life. You are given somewhere around 80 years to live on this planet, and the first 20 years and the last 20 years of your life are going to be pretty much useless. So your life basically starts when you're 20, right? Some people mature early, so they start their life even when they're a teenager, right? They're like a lot of sports people start playing sport when they are 13 or 14 years old, like in their high school or in the college. But generally speaking, most of us get around 3 to 4 good decades in life. In these 3 to 4 good decades in life, you have so much to do, right? You have so much to do, and you cannot afford to keep making the same mistakes again and again, right? You have to figure out money, you have to figure out your purpose, you have to figure out your personality, you have to figure out what kind of partner would suit you, you have to figure out whether you want to build a family or not, whether you figure out you have to figure out what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. You have to figure out a lot of stuff. You have to figure out social skills, you have to figure out how to understand your own emotions, how to understand your own thoughts, how to understand your own self, right? You have to figure out so many things. But the problem is that it's very difficult to do it on our own, to do everything on our own. This is why we rely on a lot of information that has been tried and tested, right? Information, for example, you can call these things like rules or principles, like universal principles, or in a more technical language, you can call these things heuristics, positive heuristics, like shortcut to decision. Shortcut to decision. For example, a good heuristic in life to follow would be that whenever you are talking to a person, right, detach the idea from the person, right? Just because somebody is a bad person or somebody is a person that you don't like, it does not mean they cannot have good ideas. An idea or a belief or a set of information is different from the person. A very bad person can give you some good ideas, and also a very good person can give you some very bad ideas. So just because a person is good or bad, don't automatically judge their ideas also as good as bad, good or bad. This is important realization to mature. This is an important rule of thumb, which is true in every case, right? Which is true when it comes to your like friends. Like there are a lot of your friends that you're going to like, and they're going to be like, bro, you know what, it's okay, like it's not that big of a deal, like smoke this cigarette, man, smoke this weed, let's go out, let's drink, let's party, right, let's hook up with some chicks. And you'll be like, yeah, I like this person, he's a good person, so that means what he must be saying is also good, is also right, right? No, it's not. You have to be able to evaluate things independently, whether they are related to a good person or a bad person. You might also have some other friend who is going to be like, hey bro, you know what, you're not focusing on life enough, you're not working out, you're not really doing anything productive in your life, but the thing is you don't really like this person, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to be like, you know what bro, fuck you, I don't care about you, I don't care what you think about me, and you can go and be all boring if you want to, if you can go and be all stupid and like uncle like you if you want to, but I am not going to do that. I am going to go out and have fun because this is my 20s, this is my youth. I am young right now, and right now I can go out and do a lot of things. If you don't want to do that, don't do that, but I am going to do that. A lot of the times we make decisions like this. This is a completely faulty way of making decisions, right? So Our brain, like as I said, fundamentally is a reality interpretation machine, right? It takes signals or inputs from our eyes, from our ears, from other senses, right? From our social, from our social life, from our environment, and it tries to make a good enough picture in our head about the reality. For the most part, it does a good job, right? Like for example, you know, I'm wearing a white T-shirt and I'm wearing glasses, right? So you can see this, you can understand what I'm saying, right? You know that my name is Rahul. So for the most part, your brain does a good job. But when it comes to nuanced things, or when it comes to complex decisions, and with human life, almost everything is complex. When you're choosing a job, what kind of career to follow, that's a very complex decision. It's not like, should I wear a black t-shirt or should I wear a white t-shirt? It's not that easy, right? It's not, you're not losing anything in this decision, like wearing a black t-shirt and a white t-shirt. But if you accidentally choose a wrong career path, you might end up wasting years, right? You might end up never recovering from that career. You might end up like investing so much into that career that you're going to be like, wait, you know what, fuck everything, I have already invested so much of my life in this career, let me just go ahead and stick to this career for my entire life. This is called as sunk cost fallacy, right? So the more you have invested in something, the less likely you are going to change that, even if that thing is harmful for you, right? This happens a lot in, like for example, relationships. When people have invested a lot in a toxic person, what happens is the likelihood of them leaving that person becomes less, because sunk cost fallacy says that the more you have invested in something, the harder it's going to be for you to give up on that. You're always going to keep thinking that, you know what, if I try to become a better person, maybe I can change this person, or maybe I can turn this relationship around. You know what, I can do this. You know what, there is right now we are going through a hard time. Even though you might be going through a hard time for the last 10 years, but you're still going to fool yourself into thinking that you are going through a hard time right now. Okay, maybe in next 5 years are going to be better. You know what, maybe next 5 years are going to be pleasant, amazing. This is called sunk cost. This is called as sunk cost fallacy, right? And we make this error on a day-to-day basis. We make this error on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. This is a very common error that happens with people. So, a brain is a million year old, millions of year old hardware that is running on also thousands of years old software, right? The ideas of morality, the ideas of religion, the ideas of ethic, the ideas of what is good, what is bad. These ideas are thousands of year old, right? And our brain is running on that software in the modern world, where a lot of the things are redundant, where a lot of things are completely useless, right? So we make a lot of mental flaws, right? Some of the flaws that we make are first order thinking and linear thinking. So let me define what first order thinking is. First order thinking is like, I am feeling stressed. If I have a couple of glasses of alcohol, I'm going to feel good. That means alcohol makes me feel relaxed. That means alcohol is good for me. And I keep drinking alcohol, right? If I'm in a social setting, I'm feeling nervous and I'm feeling anxious. If I'm in a club and everybody is dancing around me, I can go have a couple of glasses of alcohol and I can numb my brain down. I can drown my brain in alcohol, and then I won't be able to think about how nervous I'm feeling, and then I'll be able to go and mix and mingle in the environment. What is this? This is called first order thinking. First order thinking is just thinking about the immediate, like this, just thinking about the immediate rewards or immediate results of your action. You're not thinking long term. Like you're not thinking that, okay, if I drink today, that means the next time I go to a club, I will also feel like drinking. Since I have relied on alcohol for my confidence and for my social skills, that means tomorrow also I'm going to rely on alcohol. And if this keeps on happening, I'm going to become an alcoholic. I might, end up like completely ruining my health. Alcohol is going to damage my brain in the long run, right? I'm going to become aggressive. I'm going to fight with people. I'm going to make a lot of bad decisions while I'm under the influence of alcohol. So wait a second. Maybe drinking alcohol whenever I'm feeling sad or anxious is not a very good choice. You know what? I should try to find a better way. This is called second order thinking, right? So second order thinking is thinking how would your choices and how would your decisions, how would action turn out in the long run, right? This is second order thinking. A lot of people just rely on first order thinking. A lot of people just rely on simply on first order thinking. They only think about the immediate consequences that their actions are going to have. They never think about long term, like what will happen if I keep doing this for 6 months, right? Like for example, if you go to the gym and if you're sore, right, you're like, oh my god, gym makes me sore. Soreness gives me pain. Pain is equal to bad. That means gym is equal to bad. And then even though logically you know that, you know, it's a part of the process, like becoming sore and recovering and going to the gym again and working out again. It's a part of the process, but you don't care. You don't give a fuck, right? Even though you know that logically you should go to the gym the next day. Logically, you should not use social media when there is no use for it. Logically, you should try to read some good books instead of simply watching one movie after another. But you don't do that, right? So why are you not doing this? Why, if you know better, why don't you do this? This is called stupidity. Basically, this is called stupidity, right? And a lot of what this channel is going to be about is how to become less stupid, how to become less wrong, right? There is a great website called Less Wrong. If you want to learn about these things, if you want to learn about like rationality and related topics a little bit more in depth, then you can go and check that out. In fact, the website Less Wrong has been a very central influence for this transition that I'm making from dating to thinking, from dating to rationality, right? So that's one thing, first order thinking and linear thinking. We have to understand what second order thinking is, and we have to incorporate second order thinking in our life. We have to not just depend on linear thinking, but we also have to depend on lateral thinking, right? Now what is lateral thinking is we are going to talk about what lateral thinking is in later future videos. But basically linear thinking is like, if I for example, if I learn a skill, this is going to get me better job, right? If I get a better job, then I'm going to move to a better place, then my chances of getting married are going to be higher, right? Then my chances of having a good marriage and life are going to be higher. This is called linear thinking. And linear thinking is very useful, like it's very straightforward. A to B, B to C, C to D. This is a very straightforward logical kind of thinking process, and this is very good. But there's also something called as lateral thinking, and lateral thinking comes into play when you are solving complex problems, right? For example, you have a problem that you have a problem that you are confused what kind of career to take. So it's not just what linear thinking says is, okay, find a high paying skill, learn it, and start doing it. But the problem is, if you find a high paying skill and you learn it and you start doing it, you might innately not be very interested in that skill. That might not be your innate curiosity. That might not lie within your circle of interest. So what's gonna happen eventually after maybe like 2 years, 3 years, that you're going to lose motivation to learn anything new, and you're going to hit a plateau. You're going to hit a plateau from which you're not going to come down. You will not want to come down from the plateau because it will mean starting over. And after like 3, 4, 5 years down your career, nobody would want to start over, right? Starting over is very difficult. It's very painful. Like, so much work has already been invested in this. So why the fuck start over? Let's not start over. But if you apply lateral thinking, right, or if you apply second order thinking, then you can get out of this problem very well. Lateral thinking also teaches you creativity. It teaches you how to practice and improve creativity. This is the first problem. Second problem is biases and heuristic. What are biases? If you are into personal development, you will know what biases are. Like for example, everybody is biased towards themselves. Everybody thinks that what they think is right. Everybody think that they are good people, right? Even though the reality might not be, might not say the same thing. You might think that you are a good person. You might think that you are a good boyfriend or you are a good girlfriend, but your partner is the one who's fucked up, right? It's hard to point out fingers at yourself and criticize yourself that no, you actually, you know what, actually I am the bad one here. I'm the bad person, I'm the bad partner, I am the problem, I am the fuck up. So we are biased towards a lot of things, right? Now what are heuristics? heuristics are uh, Heuristics are basically rules of thumb, right? They are decision making shortcuts. We are going to talk about heuristics, a lot of heuristics we are going to talk about throughout the video, throughout different videos that are going to come up next. So we act on our instinct, we act on our natural impulses, and not reason. But the society, the world that we are living in right now, it requires us, it is necessary for us to act as per our reason, act as per our rationality, act as per our logic, not impulse, right? Because our impulse is designed for a different kind of environment, right? Now the point is, you can train your intuition, you can train your instincts, you can train your impulses. It is going to take some time. That is what is called as mastery, right? That is what is called when you become like an expert in something. You can train your intuition, but relying on untrained intuition is very dangerous. It's a very a problematic thing. You're going to suffer a lot of losses because of that, right? So we don't know how to make decisions. Nobody has ever sat us down live and told like, hey, there is a proper systematic way to make decisions, okay? And we are going to teach you how to do that. So even though these things have been around for like last 100 years, nobody has cared enough to share these things with you, right? Because these things are a little bit difficult to learn, these things are a little bit difficult to understand, but if you do dig into it, it is not that difficult. Like if you can learn a musical instrument, you can learn this. If you can learn how to drive a car, you can learn this. If you can learn how to do your job well enough, right, you can learn this. It's not that difficult. So making decisions, thinking how to think, right, how to interpret information in our head, nobody has taught us these things. So we rely on default systems, and a lot of the times our default systems are not made, they are not built for this environment. They are built for a more like caveman, tribal sort of environment rather this, right? So another flaw is like we have a flawed sense of reality based on current trends and media, right? This is again, this will come in later videos as availability heuristic or representativeness bias. So what this is like recent events judge our like cloud our judgments a lot, right? For example, recently if there has been a very serious car crash in your area, whenever you go out, you are going to be oversensitive to this thing of car crashes, right? The same thing happens in media. For example, the media shows you like for engagement and for their own revenue, they show you bad news so that you can engage with it and you can be hooked on it, right, for a long period of time. So what media does is like it kind of distorts your sense of reality. Now you are thinking that the world is actually bad, but it's not true. The world is not really that bad. The world is neutral. In fact, the world is better than it was ever before. Yes, there are some things that are going to shit in this world, but on a general level, the world is very good, right? Like recently, like we all the countries, the entire world went through a global depression, a little bit, not a very severe depression, but we went through a global depression right now, right? Did you starve? Anybody anybody starved? No, right? There was a recent pandemic, COVID. Whether you believe that COVID was a serious pandemic or not, it is debatable. It is not very certain. But For a moment, let's just assume that it's a real pandemic. It was a real threat to people, but it was contained very well. It, Imagine like hundreds of years ago when Black Plague happened in Europe, it wiped out 70% of the entire Europe population. Like, do you understand what 70% of the entire country's population is? Like, do you understand how big of a deal that is? Like the Spanish flu killed so many more people than you can even imagine. Like malaria, when it first like came into like the mainstream society in different countries, it killed so many children, it killed so many people. You have no idea. But now we are much more capable of handling these things, right? Human beings, like as people, we are always confused, uncertain, and we have no idea about how to properly live life, how to make the right decisions, and how to achieve our goals. In fact, a lot of people don't even know whether the goals that they are following, they are their own goals or these are reactionary goals. Just because somebody in your college said that, hey bro, you know what, you are a weak fuck, right? Nobody is ever going to like you. So maybe that stuck with you, and maybe everything that now in your adult life that you're trying to do is simply you're trying to prove that imaginary person wrong. Even though that person is not in your life, even though don't know that person anymore, you are still trying to prove that person wrong, right? Which is fucked up, which is bad. Like, why are you letting somebody, like who you didn't even like, who is not even in your life, control your entire life like this? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's useless. It's stupid. So this happens a lot. Like when, for example, if a girl rejects you very badly, your entire life, like kind of, you design your entire life after that event, around that girl and around how she treated you. Like, it's okay, it was a bad decision, that girl was a bad choice, maybe she was a bad person, maybe it was not meant to be, maybe you both were not mature enough to deal with that properly. So it broke up. Okay, fine, it broke up, but like the event is already done. Like, only your thoughts are prolonging the event. Your thoughts about the event, right? Your overthinking, your over uncertainty, your over analyzing of the event is prolonging the pain that you're facing. You can simply stop thinking about that event and you can simply move on. But we don't do it, right? Because again, we are human beings, we are highly emotional, we are very social, we are very biased towards our status. We think of our status too much. We think of what other people are thinking. It's important for us. For a human being, what other people are thinking is important, right? Because one of the main one of the main reasons that a lot of people were thrown out of the tribe or the village was that they went against the entire tribe. So what happens if you do something that nobody else approves of and everybody hates on that? Then you're going to be thrown away outside the tribe. And usually, like, a lot of people take pride in the fact that they are lone wolf, right? But what happens to lone wolves is that they die alone. Usually lone wolves die alone. So it's not a good thing to be a lone wolf. Another problem is that we are very disconnected from reality, and we subscribe to a very ineffective way of living life. Whether you are trying to build a business, make money, build relationships, get jacked, whether you're trying to do a research or become a scientist or do any of that, it is important for you to understand how the reality works, right? Just because you don't believe in gravity, it doesn't mean that you can safely jump from a five-story building and be harmless. You will still die if you jump from a five. It doesn't matter whether you can believe in any god, right? You can believe in any god, you can believe in anything, you can think anything about, you can think that the universe is on your side and the universe is going to help you get through this problem. But if you are let's say bitten by a poisonous snake without any treatment, you are going to die, right? Like, there is a way that reality objectively is. Your opinion of reality does not change anything. your feeling about the reality does not change anything, right? Like money, you might not like the fact that there is a inequality of income in our society, but that's just how it is in everything, right? Like top 1% of the Instagram models, or sorry, Instagram influencers make as much as the bottom 70% of all the people combined. So are all influencers evil? The same happens with business, right? Like the top 3% businesses make as much as the bottom like 70 to 80% of businesses combined in the entire world. Like you can say that business people are bad, and corporate world and capitalism is bad. Okay, fine, like you can place a value judgment on it, but understand that it does not change the fact that this is how every creative field works, right? Like 1% of musicians sell as much as the bottom 50% of all the musicians combined, right? 1%, like top 3% of OnlyFan models make as much as the bottom 80% of all the models combined. So what? OnlyFans models are evil? They are part of some they are some part of some great conspiracy who is trying to take away all the wealth. No, this is just how life is built. This is called as Pareto distribution, right? Like 80% of the results are going to come from 20% of the causes. Sorry, 80% of the causes are going to stem from 20% of effects. This is just the Pareto distribution. This is true in everything. This is true in fucking everything. This is true with the. This is true with like how many writers are successful. This is true with how many lions get to survive in the savannas. Like the top 20% lions have as much as a bottom, like 50 to 60% lions. Even without me, going and researching that, I can say that because this is a fact. This is a statistical fact about reality that you cannot change. I cannot change it, right? So this is just the start of the entire journey, and I'm going to create certain playlists, right? The first playlist is going to be about all the flaws in our thinking. There are going to be like maybe 40 to 50 videos in one playlist. Videos are going to be sometimes for 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Videos are sometimes going to be around 1 hour. Like for example, this video is 1 hour because this is an introduction video. We are creating the groundwork, we are creating the fundamentals of what is next to come, right? After this, the next playlist is going to be about rationality. After that, the next playlist is going to be about wisdom. After that, the next playlist is going to be about general personal optimization, self optimization, etc. If you want to follow my work, you can follow me on Medium. I am going to have a link in the description. I am going to write weekly articles and blogs on Medium, and those are also going to be related to what we are going to talk on YouTube. So that's how we're going to do, and I'm also going to be posting like some commentary on what's currently happening in culture, right? I am going to be posting about my views, my opinions about some recent things that are happening in pop culture, that are happening in the mainstream society, in the mainstream world, right? Things like, for example, what's happening with Andrew Tate, right? What's happening with the entire LGBTQ thing, what's happening with like a lot of businesses out there, like why like our businesses, or why other people making bad decisions, why are other people doing things that are actively hurting them. So why are celebrities who have such a wide range of advisors continuously keep making bad and bad decisions? Why the fuck this is happening, right? I'm also going to sometimes do like a book summary or a movie breakdown if I like the movie, or if I think the movie has some deeper meaning than the superficial movies. I'm going to do a breakdown of that. I'm going to do a breakdown of books. I'm going to do a breakdown of like some philosophers like Plato, Socrates, Buddha, like even Indian philosophers, Indian like writings, Indian mythology, different kind of mythology where I'm going to do breakdowns about. I'm going to talk about religion. I'm going to talk about philosophy. I'm going to talk about metaphysics. I'm going to yeah. So we are going to talk about a lot of these things, and all of these things have one central goal, is to help you think better. So if you like this video, then hit the like button, because since I am now restarting my YouTube channel, I will need a lot of support. I will need a lot of engagement. I will need the help of all of you guys to like boost the channel from ground up again. So like the video, share the video with other people, comment your thoughts, comment what kind of problems that you have been facing, and what kind of content that you would like to see from me. You can follow me on Instagram if you want more updates, and if you want to like just interact with me on a day-to-day basis. You can join my WhatsApp group, you can join my Telegram group, where I do keep sharing my thoughts and opinions about things on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis. All in all, I'm pretty stoked, I'm pretty excited for this. This is going to be something that nobody is doing, to be honest, on the entire YouTube. This is not very mainstream, this is not very popular right now. Maybe it will become popular, but this is one of the crazy things, right? Like, you can be the first, you can learn something before everybody else, and you can have leverage in life. Another important term is leverage that we are going to talk about in the videos, in coming videos. So we are going to talk about a lot of these things. It's going to be extremely interesting. We are going to talk about very interesting psychological facts about the world, philosophies, very interesting perspective about life, about success, about achievement, what is good or bad, about religion, etc. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, that you like the video, and then you comment your thoughts about the video and what would you like to watch in future. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye bye.